you're not in the picture unless you really come here and say hi to people. But otherwise, it's there, so you can see the record, what we cover. So let me quickly, as I said, because of the loss of time, so I try to quickly go over what we're doing. So I'm teaching this class. My room is in the B School building next to the subway. And our TA is Cindy. Oh, already we have someone who's coming. So so the objective is, remember, the same as other class, we have to a 70% attendance, and probably we'll have some way to take attendance, but I will not particularly take attendance one by one. But instead, we may have some quiz during the class. So if you miss the quiz, then probably I know. But you know in advance what are we doing. So the textbook will be this guy. This guy is widely used in all the master program for statistics or data science. I don't think anyone would get a physical copy, but you can read the e-copy. I mean, I think you guys are pretty new generation, don't have to read the paper. I have, but so you can read the PDF version. But I really enjoy reading the books, because the first year I thought I read the PDF that made me drive me nuts. So I bought one out of using my own research grant, but I guess it doesn't really matter which one you're reading, doesn't really matter. This will be fine. Okay. So about assessment, we have some individual assignment. Last year, my assignment is too easy. So this year will be much more difficult. Slightly more. Because last year, the external review committee said my assignment is too easy. So a slightly little bit more. But more difficult doesn't mean take more time. Actually, it'll be easier. Because last year I have an open-ended assignment, which probably take more time, but they don't like it. So I'm probably make it like close-ended, much easier in terms of time. So we probably will just well, you will see. It's not, if I give the first assignment, you tell me is it too difficult, then I will adjust accordingly, because I will have to design a new one. So don't worry about that. I mean, I know you guys are super busy from the last experience. You're busy with other class assignment. I try to keep my assignment like should be able to finish 1 or 2 hours at most. Hopefully, if you know how to do it, should be half an hour should be done. But because we are trying to apply the technique we learned in the class, so basically, if you look at my slide, then should be able to do your homework. Shouldn't be something terribly complicated, and the assignment will be more closely similar to the test or exam you're going to do. So it'd be good if you do it. The group projects. The reason why we need group projects instead of individual, because we have a very large class, and so it's very difficult to have individual projects and to be presented in the class, because with B School we should expect you to present your data, and especially your IT manager, right? You should be able to present your finding to the manager in a business manner. So I expect you're able to write a business style, professionally done report and a presentation. By business level, which I mean you have to be very short and concise. Okay, I'm not asking you to do a long report. Okay, it should be a very short report. So what I would be expecting you to do, the group project, which I will give more detail, but I would be expecting you to have 1 A4 paper for each member in the group. Suppose you have a 1 person, you should do 1 A4 paper. If you're 2, you have to 2 A4 paper, so on and so forth. I'll give you more detail later, but it shouldn't be a big thing, but it should be very concise. Same as our presentation, should be a concise one. We'll do the presentation for last few classes. Last class we reserve for exam. So that would be the idea. Okay. There will be what we call content assessment, 10%. This I would put in the quizzes. So we'll do sometime during the break, we'll do a quiz asking you the material that we cover. It's just a simple thing. It's just not something complicated if you know people in previous cohort. the quiz is a little bit, I think it's slightly more difficult in the quiz last year. So I will probably tone down a little bit, make this year a little bit slightly easier. So I will increase the difficulties for the assignment, but reduce the difficulties in the quiz. Okay, that would be what I'm going to do. And so assignment will be graded by the by TA. So you have any question, you can ask her, ask Cindy. But I had to redesign all the assignments, so I don't know what I'm going to ask, but it will be, I'm thinking it will be somewhat similar to the assignment in the textbook. So probably somewhat like that, and to make you read some of the textbook, because all our lecture will be based on textbook. So I think reading a textbook would be helpful. So maybe some question from the textbook. Or something similar to textbook. So so your project, probably I'll upload some of the past years examples, and you know what in cover. So basically what you're going to do is, as a tools, and you will pick up a topic that you like, and then you will do those. Okay, you may pick up some say last year some people would do is to look at the Spotify, the music streaming website, and they try to use statistics or use some machine learning method, some classification method, to distinguish what type of music is in trendy, what type of music getting most clicks or and most downloads, so and so forth. Okay, some people do different various things, IT related. Say look at which firm, they look at some subset of firms in electronic website like Taobao or Alibaba or JD.com, and look at which firm changing prices and the rating and those data. Okay, you can do whatever you like. There's no restriction on that, but what you want to do is want to get your hand dirty and try to collect data and work on those. Okay, as IT managers, I think you have no problem using Python to scrap data from the web, right? Because you have the summer Python program class, right? And suppose you guys are expert in Python. Of course, I assume zero knowledge from the Python. You can see the slide of Python already, but you will be something like that. As I said, assessment, the quiz, and other things. I will try to remember your face, and when I grade, then I just give extra marks, 1 or 2, but usually make no difference to your final grade anyway, because maybe 1 or 2 people will have some difference, but usually just like the project and your text actually determine your grade. Maybe some subgrade a little bit. If you're very marginal, then make a difference. And for the quiz, I think we have 4 or 5 quiz, and only we'll use we think if your quiz is more than 50%, you get full credit. Okay, if you're less than, you cannot make more than half, then you only get 1 point. I mean, total is 12 points, total 10 points. I think we'll give you for quiz. If you get, for every quiz, you get more than half, multiple choice question, more than half, then you will automatically full credit. If you don't, then you will get 1 for participation. So just reduce your burden. So making mistake doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, unless you fail everything, it's multiple choice, so it's hard to fail. I mean, even you just by guessing, right? Test supposedly will be 2.5 hours in the very last class. To make you have more time, I will make the exam on the very last day on the Friday class. So not in the section, that session Friday morning. So we will do a Friday morning class, because Friday afternoon when to go home, right? So last class Friday morning, and then done. Okay, an open book. The exam open book, so you don't need to remember anything. But to prevent cheating, because you guys are IT manager, right? So you know how to work with the IT better than I do. So to avoid the problem of communication, which I can't observe, we only allow paper, unfortunately, traditional one. So you can bring whatever number of papers there to the exam venue, and it cannot be shared among your classmates. Otherwise, it's perfect open book. I mean, if some of you are able to tell me how to jam your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, then I'm okay to have the computer on in your. But otherwise, if we don't know how to jam it, then no. Okay, I think that's the case. Plagiarism, I guess its assignment is statistic, nothing to worry about, but the project, although it's very short, you need to submit to the worry guide to make sure that you don't plagiarize. Otherwise, it shouldn't be an issue for our class because it's basically math, right? Math and stat class, so it shouldn't be an issue here. What else would you say? AA minus B, C, D, the F would be very similar to all other classes, so there's nothing special to say. I think our class is very standard, so I don't think we need any special thing. It's right as long as you do very well, right? So one thing is probably you notice is data cam, probably also used in the class as well. So in our class, we're able only to cover Python, and often people use R as well for data analysis. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to cover R. So since you guys are IT manager, right, I guess there's no problem of learning by yourself. Go there, learn it. So for me, I learned R and then I learned Python on the way. So, but so now I teach reversely. So hopefully, you guys can educate me if I'm wrong on the Python. Maybe I'm doing something very stupid, but you do the job. So this is schedule. The chapters actually follow this book, the textbook. So you will see I cover the main thing, but there's something that is not covered in the textbook. So as a graduate level class, you don't suppose me to read from page 1 to page 100, right? You have something missing, then you can consult the book. But of course, what I'm going to ask in the exam or assignments would be within what I cover in the class. But you are encouraged, or you should read the book because that would be the standard book, I mean, used in everywhere in the world. So you can see what we're going to do today. We talk about data, and we talk about how to manage to clean the data, looking at Python and download the data from the website and tell you what are those caveats. Although you may overlook this point, but as an IT manager, your data come from the platform or electronic thing. There's a huge problem. Although you have a lot of data, but a lot of data missing, a lot of data are incorrect, so on and so forth, that have to be very careful. Compared to usual data in social science or other database which you download from, and they are very nicely cleaned, but you have to clean yourself, right? Unless you have some subordinate to clean it for you. But otherwise, the data may not be very nice, so you have to know very well how to clean those. And this week 2 next week, we'll talk about how to do what we call exploit data analysis, which actually we get ourselves in the data and see what is there. And we learn some review something how to relate variables like correlation and covariance and basic statistics, which suppose you know very well. But I guess for those who have worked for a few years, then this may not in your mind, right? Because you have been in IT, so you are not in stats. So I mean, just a very gentle review. And then next, we will come into the third chapter, which we're going to take the data to do something, because chapter 3 and 4 basically try to describe data, which doesn't produce new knowledge, but rather tell us what the data is, okay? And for 5 and 6 is trying to use the data to generate new knowledge. What do we mean by new knowledge? It means that statistics or data analysis, in what we are trying to say is we're looking at a very small subset of what is available, right? We're interested in something that is much bigger than what we have, right? We are trying to draw conclusion based on the sample we have to draw the idea on the big population, right? So that is the idea, right? For example, if we want, say, we want to know how much people want to spend on certain goods, right? We usually do a market survey, and we only ask some people, not all the customer that may buy a product. And in that case, we're trying to draw conclusion from the customer that you survey, right? But try to guess it for the much larger picture that you want to know. In that case, that we have to generalizing from the data and do some hypothesis testing, right? So these are the standard technique that we need to do, the baseline for the subsequent analysis. Okay, and you may say, okay, as an IT manager, I manage the whole website, right? And all the data I need. Suppose you are the manager for Jingdong or Alibaba, Amazon. I have all the data, right? I have all the data. So why I need to do this? But the problem is what the data you have in the past, you don't in the future, right? So still you have what you have, but you don't have what they have in the future. So you still have to extrapolate what you have, right? You have to generate knowledge from what you have already, right? Because you are looking at the past, generate the knowledge in the future, or the prediction in the future. So that's why you still need to learn that. Okay. And the week 4, we talk about regression and how to do the extension, right? Nonlinear pattern, and 5 is generalizing regression. And probably many of you know, right? For statistics, right? Basically, it's a regression, right? It's basically just like a scatter plot, right? Drawing a line, try to collect dots, right? Because we at the end of the day, we care about cause and effect, right? How X affect Y, right? Then we can take action, right? Otherwise, why are we doing statistics? We want to know something, we want to take action. How X cause Y, how Y change according to X, and then we can know how to do it, right? So imagine the case, right? If you want to design a website or design an infrastructure, and you try different features, right? Different feature need a different outcome. Then you want to know which feature should be implemented according to the outcome Y, right? Then in that case, you have to run regression and the associated analysis, right? So that is the cause and effect, right? And then the next we'll talk about the Y variable, the outcome variable, right? This is about probability and time series, which is slightly more different from the standard, right? When the modern probability means the outcome you observe is not a continuous number, but rather they do something, right? Rather they click it, right? Click this website, whether they buy stuff, right? Rather they adopt certain procedure, then it's a probability you have to model. You require different model like logic or probability or more or different type of story. Or time series analysis, because of the standard regression, would take each observation independently, but as a big data, you observe the same individual over time, then you need other tools that require time series analysis. And then for 7 and 8 is AI, should be machine learning, right? Should be machine learning idea, which extend the regression to a little bit further, right? Regression is a linear, right? And then you can imagine the machine learning technique is a nonlinear regression in some sense, right? The regression tree, random forest, and those kind of terms maybe you know or may not know, but you will know later is some way to fit the model, right? It's like the idea of fitting a model in this kind of thing is the reduced dimension, right? Because where the data actually have everything, right? But the data is too huge for us to understand. We try to reduce it in a simple model, right? By making the model a little bit easy to understand, right? Well, of course, AI, the model is very complicated, right? But standard machine learning model still, forest of the tree would be still a somewhat comprehensible, right? Reduce the dimension of the data, right? To somewhat 100 or several parameter, right? And in that case, we're able to do something. And these are all related to 7 and 8. And number 9 and 10 is the deepest question of econometrics, because remember, we say at the end, what we care is X cos Y, and all the above machine learning or regression doesn't establish X cos Y. You just say how Y changes when X changes, okay? And here we have the causal analysis and different regression, and panel is going to try to help us to discover the causal link, okay? You try to see how X changes actually lead to Y, and that makes us a educated decision on how to make or break, right? Because if you want to implement certain thing, you have to make sure that this is the right thing, not just coincidence. Okay, so that is the part that we do. You can see we're ambitious, trying to cover so many stuff. Okay, and that means that to have breadth, so we sacrifice some depth. Okay, so you can see actually same as a book. Especially for the last few chapters, we just tell you what is the model and how to interpret it. All the estimation method will be left to the Python. Okay, we don't go into detail why this works, how to estimate those, or the algorithm. You will study in another class. So just basically give you a preview of what you can do in the subsequent class. Okay, so that is the idea. I hope it's clear what we're doing. And of course, the 11 will be presentation. So I'm pretty sure that we'll run over time for this class. So it's okay that make up a little bit about the missing time I make today. But please be aware that that day we will probably need more time. So I'll probably ask our TA to extend an hour on that day because usually presentation will run over time. But we try to control, but not that easy because everyone wants to say something. The last day will be presentation. Sorry, last day will be the test. The test will be, as I said, not in this class, but when will be on Friday, and then I think we'll be in the lower campus, not here. Okay. So is there any question before I proceed? No, that's good. I'm sorry. Usually I will have break after this one, but because of my mistake, you're a sufferer. I'm sorry about that. So let me start right away. I mean, that's okay, I hope. So I'm very sorry about that. I will try to make sure that I don't late. I mean, probably I will hide the library over there before the class. First class, okay? So it's going to be chapter 1 and 2. So by default, we're looking at the data and how to clean it and how to manage it and how to assess quality. And believe it or not, when you do data analysis, this part actually consumes most of the time. Okay? When you run regression, it's very simple because once the data is clean, just click and you're done. If you do this data, regret YX robust, or if you Python or R, actually it's very easy. I mean, the regression part is very fast. But the difficult part is how to prepare the data and what data to look at, what the scope, and that actually is the part that is the most difficult part. And when you do research and application, and this is the part that actually will make this part will decide how difficult your project is. Okay. So let's go right away. What are we doing here? Okay. So these, I hope after summer, you should know most of them. Okay. I hope this is the case. But don't worry, I will assume almost zero from the beginning. Okay, I will not assume you to right away, but I will start from the beginning as I see my slide. So I start from the beginning. And in this class, we are not writing programs, so it doesn't really worry. We just call some function and run something. Okay, but if you are not comfortable with what we have here, maybe you can try to look. You do ask the AI or looking at the website, looking at the slide in the summer. To make sure that you're comfortable with this command. But I assume you have zero, so start from zero. Okay. But this is the thing that we will be using. Okay. And you can see there are no complicated program that goes on here. Right. So very basic thing. Okay. But as I said, I assume zero. Okay. So chapter 1, order data. So data in generic sense, we can think of a matrix. It's a number in table form, okay, with some observation and tell you what the variable. And it is a nice table, data table. We have the following format. It's a table where rows represent observation and column represent feature. You can imagine each row is each customer, and the column will be what they are, maybe the age, the gender, how much they spend on the platform, how many times they click, so on and so forth. So this will be the data table. Okay. And how do we store the data? And very often, the most useful one is the CSV file, which is the comma delimit, probably you know, your IT manager, right? And you can do other, but the most one is a CSV file, right? And for data structure, there are many different types of data structure. And the most common one is cross-sectional data, right? We will try to look at, say, website, you look at this moment, how many people are looking at the website, I'm looking at clicks, so on and so forth, right? It's the same time, okay? And time series will be, I have a customer, I look at the spending history, right? In the last year, what thing does he buy? This year, what does he buy? And so on and so forth. Same guy over the year, right? And it's a panel, it's a combination of the two, right? We have a bunch of customer, right? We keep tracking at what in the past, what been done, so on and so forth. So most of the data that now available are panel data, right? And of course, there's some data cross-sectional, right? Like the government census is cross-sectional data. Because although we ask a bunch of people over a few years, but we don't keep track of the same person, right? So randomize everyone, every time. So the panel, it will be something that you would have the most often, okay? So now we look at the example, and this is a nice example, I think, because it's used in the book. What they do is a question, a guy who wants to go to a trip to Vienna, and then he or she want to find a good deal. By good deal doesn't mean the lowest price, but lower price is almost convenient, the best features, so on and so forth, right? It's not just that. So we can look at the data. This data is called Hotels Vienna CSV, and I think we can look at this data. Okay. The data looks like this, okay? We'll use this data to demonstrate our need, and then this is the data, the country, the city, so on and so forth. I'll talk about the columns later, but this is the data table. As you can see, each row is one observation, and they're the features. Okay, but I will talk about that later. But this is the data we want to look at. Okay, and where data comes from, it's come from a price comparison website. I think it's hotel.com or price.com. I forgot. I think the book didn't say anything, but I think it's price. I think booking.com. I think it's booking.com. And the location is this one, and he do it during the weekday in November 2017, and N is rather small. N is 400 or something. And what they get the data is the price, okay? The stars, how many stars the hotel has, how far is from the city center. Why he care about that? Because he want to go to a hotel, he want to go to a trip. So it's shouldn't be too far away from the city center. And beside the star by this hotel association, they want the star from the customer. And what type of accommodation, right? Maybe a house or apartment or Airbnb also included, right? So that would be the ideal data, okay? So now, this is data, okay? You can see the hotel that's what they do. The hotel ID, accommodation type is an apartment, hotel. Where country, where in the center, the distance from the center was a star rating of the price, okay? So this is the key variable, okay? And now we are going to make your hand dirty, okay? Either you have used your favorite Python software interface, or it's Code Lab. So what I do in the class, I will demonstrate in the Code Lab. So this class is more hand-on, so you don't just sit here and listen to math. That would be too boring, right? So we make you to work together with me over the code. We run the code line by line, then you know what's going on. As I said, I assume zero knowledge. But if you think I'm going too slow, too stupid, tell me, I just quickly go over, okay? We go line by that. So this data, as I said, is come from this website, right? So there are many ways to do it. After I describe this, I open the Code Lab and also open that as well. I don't know what which interface you're using for your summer class? What do you use? What do you use for the Python? Huh? Oh, VS Code, okay. What I do is the very low tech, I use the Google Code Lab. So, but you will see, okay? So there's a thing that you can upload the thing using this file, and then we try to read that, okay? So, so this code, or you can use Panda, okay? But I'll use this Code Lab, which I like the better. So you will see that this is a special function in the Code Lab that allow you to click your file, choose a file from your computer, and then upload it. And then same, you will import the IO, and then because you upload it, then input output, and then use Panda and with CSV and look at reading it and reading this file, okay? Or use Panda, or you can use the Panda style, okay? So let me open the Code Lab. I mean, I suppose you also do the same, or you can use your own favorite browser. So let's work together. I think that would be the best interest for everyone of us. So what I do is I will sign in, of course. Let me sign in my account. You sign in your own account. If you have Google, you can sign in your Google account. Of course, as I said, you can do whatever you like. So I sign into this one, or you can use anything your Python. Gmail. Yeah, it's me. Not now. So I will open a new notebook. Okay. That's what I will do. Let's copy that one. It's not coming yet. So just copy and paste. This is the run. Then you try to upload the file. So what I do is I think I have to download the data first. The data is here, right? So I just go here, and I have this file download, and the file is somewhere in the download. Let me move it to I think we can move. The download is fine. When I run this code, oh, so I don't know if you have seen this interface. So this is the IPython one, okay? And I don't know if you try to use your one, then there's a bunch of animal here. You can click this to get the animal out. Then they're out, okay? So this is something you like. If you want the animal, you put it back here. So they will come back. So, but anyway, this is you put the code here, and then you click the run, then you run. Okay, it's an interpreter. Okay, so just run this. It's waiting a little bit of a computer. Then you ask you to choose a file. Don't worry, this class has a record, so you can look at the recorded video later. But of course, you're very welcome to the picture. There's no problem. So go down and go to the download. This is the Hotel Vienna. So now we upload, it's upload to there. Okay. And then actually you can see from the system, here is a file here. Of course, you can drag and drop is also fine, but I just make it like this, the code to be complete. You can also add file, upload. You can click upload here. You can also click this file and upload here. You can also do the same. Okay, but I just put it there to make it self-complete. Okay, upload the file here. Is that okay? Any question? As I said, I will assume you have completely forget what you have done in the summer. Okay. Now the next step is to go here and use the idea of the Panda is going to read CSV. This is a Panda. It's a library that tries to read CSV file. So that I think did you learn Panda before? Panda is a package, a library that focuses on handling data. So you'll be using for statistics. Okay. So the IO will be just input output. So basically what you do is just copy the code here, can run over that. Add a code here. I should copy. I should paste. Okay, so this should be all right. So now we successfully input the data here. Okay, and what I'm doing is I would import the file that I have and import it to data frame DF. Okay, and now we want to look at the data. Okay, because once we upload it, we download it, then we want to show it. The easiest one is use the dot head, which automatically gives you the first 5 observations. So let me do that part. Since it's so easy, I'm not going to copy it, just type it. Hopefully I don't type wrongly. So this actually gives you the 5 observations. This is consistent with the slide you see. The slide actually take out this one. Okay, is that clear how you have the CSV file you can input and you can check the data? Okay, so we have 2 functions you learned today so far, right? Is how to download data from CSV file from online, okay, which already there, and then you can upload it to the system and you can run it. Okay, as I said, if you say it's too easy, let me know. I will just go faster. Okay. But last year I go too fast, they'll say they want me to slow down. So I slow down a little bit. If you want me to go fast, I can go fast, right? Because you pay a lot of money for this master program, so you want to make the best use of it, right? So the next is very important function called filter, which is going to select observation because we have too many features here, right? Because how to see there are many features here? Go to this one and look at this again. This one, you have 24 columns and 400 rows, right? So we don't need so many rows. So what we're going to do is to select only thing that we need, okay? So what we're going to do is follow the idea here. We are going to filter, means that we're going to keep this, okay? Only keep the ID, account type, country, city, the actual, center label, distance, all this, okay? And then we do head again. So to save time, I just copy and paste, okay? Normally copy and paste. Let's try again. I hate it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I have new code again. Okay. So this is the thing. You can see the color style is different from the slide because I color it by myself. Okay. So this is the official color. So that's why it's a little bit slightly different. Okay. So this is the one, and then we just run it. Run it here. So now it's much more manageable. You can see everything there. So this is how to clean up the data, because you download data has a lot of columns, so you clean the column by using the keyword filter. I hope it's clear right now how you do it. Is use the panda.cs read underscore CSV to read the CSV file. Use the filter to clean up. Use the head to look at the data. Okay? I hope this three thing is going to be okay. Is there any question before I proceed? Right? Because you may not aware what we're doing, but I go around to see if any question. I use the Google Code Lab because some of you are bringing the iPad, so probably it'll be easier, or using the phone is also easier because still you can still edit anything without the computer. Of course, feel free to use your own favorite development system. You don't have to use this one, but in that case, you don't follow the code like here. Okay, you don't use the code here. Instead, you would do this one, where there's a Panda can also read directly from the HTML file. Okay, you can do that and you can try, so it work as well. Okay, in the meantime, I go around to see if any question. If no, we go to proceed to the next part. Okay, because this class is a hand-on class, so you are recommended to bring your own computer or iPad. If not, at least look at how your classmates are working on. If you forget to bring, then you can go home and try. Shouldn't be a big thing here. Is that okay? Anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, is there any question for the Python? Yeah, there's copy and paste, so there's nothing very special there. But of course, I hope you understand what's going on. That is very important. Again, the first class will be easy, right? As we progress, we're getting more difficult, right? Already, I teach the second class for undergrad. They already complain it's too difficult already. So anyway, hopefully you don't feel that for the next week. So data quality, what is very important is to make sure that your quality is good. If not, then no matter how well you're doing, it's not going to be good. So garbage in, garbage out, GIGO. And that's very important because many of us spend time on doing analysis instead of making the better data. So make sure that you get the right data. Otherwise, your conclusion will be wrong. Okay? Okay. And what do you mean by data quality? You look at textbook, they have 6 criteria, okay, which you might or might not agree, but they're useful. The first one is what the value actually capture. So suppose you're IT manager, right? You have a data, right? It's recording how many times the customer waiting on the screen without moving. You are working, say, for Alibaba or Taobao or Amazon. Okay. So what does this variable capturing? Any suggestion? So say maybe you have a variable that the time they click the buy button. Okay. What does that mean? What is it capturing? Is it useful? Because as IT manager, the data will have so many different columns, and they're very similar sometimes, right? And you have to know what to use and why you're using, right? You have to know what is capturing. Okay. Of course, that requires you to have a smart brain, right? To, of course, sometimes you follow what boss told you, but is the case? Is it valid? Right? Is it something what we want? Is it the one that we're measuring, the thing that is what we're supposed to measure, right? And is it reliable, right? We have the same measurement again. Is it comparable, right? Suppose you get a data during the November 11, right? Which is Shangxi, right? So it will be different from normal days, right? Or is it coverage? Do you miss anything? Is it unbiased? Is it what you get? Is it random? Okay, these are the data that tells you whether it fit or not. Okay. So one thing super important, I would say, at least for your own toy project, it's very important you document how you collect data, okay? Especially the way where you collect, when, at what time, especially scrap the data from the web, right? Which keyword, how you do it, when you do it, what's the program you do it, have to be very careful. And usually you would expect to write 2 documents. One is called readme txt, which some of you laugh, but actually you have to write those, to be responsible data analysis, right? Because if you don't tell where you got, especially you're combining multiple data sets, then things get sloppy, things get confused after a few months later. Now you think it's very clear where you come from, right? Otherwise, it's not very clear. And also variable.xls tell you what's the variable. The worst case is use x1, x2, v1, v2. You name the variable in the way that's convenient for you to write the code. But as standard practice, your variable should be for the name that is easily recognizable, right? Later we'll tell you what, but you have to have this a variable to tell us what actually is measuring, how you clean the data set, right? Because sometimes you have to clean it, right? Drop some observation, so on and so forth, right? And you have to precisely tell people, because otherwise, also tell your future self how you handle those, okay? It's very important, okay? About data collection, I think this automatic will be fit as IT manager like you, right? Because either you would already get it from the some website that provide the API, like the World Bank or the thread, actually available easily using Python. You can check it out. Or you collect by yourself, like the data we have just seen, the hotel Vienna.csv is actually collected from scrapping, right? And some other thing is, you can collect the data from government. The government has a lot of data. Everywhere the government collects so many data, so you can always download either freely or you pay, right? So this data are very useful. And also survey, you can collect your own data, right? Because for your project, sometimes you collect your own data would be very useful, right? You can run a web survey or other way, but this would be a very useful way to get data. Okay? Now, the next thing is called sampling. Okay, I think I just briefly mentioned about the sampling. The sampling is the idea that we are unable to get everything we want. We just get some part of it, right? As I said, even if you are having every data you want, you only know the past and the future, right? So you're only able to want to have predict the future using the past, right? So you're only part of that. So for your prediction or the conclusion to be valid, using the small part to estimate the big picture, what your small picture you're looking at should be representative, right? The sample should be the nice way. And very often the undergraduate, we don't tell you how to check, but usually you should have checked your data, is it representative? How do you check? Of course, the first one is very simple. You just see how you collect it, right? There's nothing new. The second one is called benchmarking, right? Is often the view is to look at the data and check whether the summary statistics, later you will learn next class, and look at the mean variance. Are they fitting what we know, right? Look at the mean, is it the right thing? Look at the variance, is it similar to what we know? If not, then you have to collect more, right? Suppose you're IT manager, you are looking at a snapshot of this week's data, right? And then you figure out that the data, look at the mean or some other feature of the model, wasn't similar to what you had done historically. So either you have 2 actions to do. Either you tell your boss, I have some new discovery, or you check whether this data has some issue before you tell your boss, right? So that would be something you look at. And how to do sampling is a big business. So what usually we assume, as we do for the rest of the class, we will assume random sample. And if not, then we'll some adjustment. So which means that every observation in the population is equally likely to be selected. And you select one doesn't tell you the other. So it's completely independent. Of course, how to solve this problem when this not whole, will require advanced technique, which we cover something at the very end, say panel data, time series data, which is not independent. We talk about those. But we assume in most cases, we assume random sample. Okay. So a very famous example, which if you try to read any textbook, we talk about this very famous example. Probably you may have known in undergrad, is a largest political poll in I think 90s ago. The election in the 1930s by a literary digest. Look at two candidates, Roosevelt and London, and they asked how many people? 10 million people. So it's I think now no one have ever did this now. Okay, no one. This is probably the only case. Probably only can compare is the survey done, the census done by Chinese government, but otherwise, I don't think anyone will ask for 10 million data. Okay. And what they get is a 2 million reply, biggest ever still. And the data, you believe so big, right? And win with 57%, you expect this to be right. But of course, some of you who know history is wrong, completely wrong, by a large margin. And what's the reason? Okay. And turn out to be one of the main reason is they use telephone. Okay, the telephone. And at that time, who's on telephone is people who have money, right? And turn out to be most people which have votes do not use telephone and do not reply, right? Because you can see although they ask 10 million, only 2 million reply, right? So large majority people actually do not pick up the phone, or they lie, or whatever reason. This is incorrect, okay? So even though a big sample size can go wrong easily. So the thing about whether from the beginning, what you're doing, is it going to be right, right? And you can see, right, because now you can look at the recent, people look at the US election, how many people they ask, 1,000 or 2,000, right? Way lower than that. But they are probably more or less accurate, okay? I mean, we will study the reason why this is true, but you can see you have to ask the right person of the right sample to get it wrong, to get it right, right? Even if you get large sample size doesn't mean it's going to be good. And go back to hotel data, okay? And we're trying to see the quality of this data, okay? And the first is, let's collect from the scrapping. It's a good quality, right? It's good because this is a website what we care, but there's some missing anyway, because there's some hotels not listed in the website, right? But it's good, okay? I think it's good because when we buy stuff, I'm not going to look for every single website, right? I just only scrap the website that I'm using, the comparison website. So I think it's fine. Okay, it fits the idea that it fits what we're trying to do. Okay, so that's good. Of course, if he or she is interested in looking at the best deal, that may be an issue. But it's the best deal within the website they want to search, that's fine. Okay. Now, here comes to another data set. Okay. This data set is, as the name suggests, is called the Billion Prize Project. Okay. It's done like 7 years ago, or actually more than 10 years ago. It's an academic research trying to look for prizes around 10 countries. And they collect more than billions of prizes. And they try to see online and offline and try to see the prices, okay? And we try to look at the data, okay? That's the data. The data like this, okay? And you can see they look at which country, which retailer, which day, the observation was the price, offline was the price online, with the photo, and there are many things, right? Whether it's online or offline, okay, the prices, okay? So, you can, how they do that? Yeah, write that down here, no? Okay, how they do that? How they collect, okay? They do offline, online. Online, ask IT manager like you to write program to get the data, okay? Offline, they just ask people to go to the store and collect it. They pay money, right? Go to somewhere to collect, right? And there's a manager that try to make sure that they're online and offline at the same time, right? Because they collect online and offline, they go to the store at the same time as they collect the data online. But because they're discount, the festival, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why at the same time. So what can go wrong? What can go wrong in this data? Let's have some discussion rather than I just keep saying. What can go wrong? What can be missing? What can be a mistake? Of course, on the offline, they need to take pictures. So they ask the person go to the store and take pictures and record, try to make sure that online, offline, same product, right? There are many procedure. Okay, is the coverage going to be complete? Is it reliable? Right? Is it missing? Right? Is it going to miss certain stuff? No idea. You can think about that. What can go wrong? I will give you something. Is what? Is it missing anything? Of course, depend on what you want to study, right? If you want to study only these 10 countries, then you're fine, right? You try to understand the price around the world, that's not clear, right? And how do you compare across country? Exchange rate, how can you deal with those, right? It's not that clear, right? And also the offline, you're not going to collect every single data for every offline site. So how can you make sure, right? There's a lot of other things as well, right? And online prices often is unclear its actual price to pay because there's a lot of coupon, there are a lot here and there, discount have to be taken care of, especially look at China market, right? There's a lot of 300 minus $10, right? There's some discount here and there, right? How can you control those, right? It's not that easy. And the last data set, which looking at also a very famous study is called the management quality, is a wealth management survey, which is going to try to see why the goal is say why some country do business better than others, and you go back to say why some firms are better than others, right? Why you see big firms up here in US, China, but not elsewhere in the world, right? You don't see big company from say Philippines or Indonesia. They may have some, but they don't have a lot as compared to these countries, right? So there's no big country from Afghanistan or so on and so forth, right? So look at data. Let's download data and take a look what we have. So this data is there, say, maybe make it bigger, right? So you have some firm ID, which firm, which year they're doing, which city, which country, SICs, which industry they're looking at, right? And then there's several measurement dimensions, how they do in management, how they do operation, how they're monitoring, how they do people, whether the company is lean or fat, how they do performance, the different performance metrics, how they do the talent, what's ownership type. There are many dimensions as well. I'm not going to go over one by one, but you can see there's a last survey and looking at how management outcome and the firm features. Okay, we're a family firm or so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. And how they collect it? Well, it's rather labor intensive. They do offline, online. They ask more than 10,000 of the firms and public sectors, and they give the manager to write some scorecard, okay, and interview with these people, and they ask M.B.A, okay, to go there to talk to the manager, right? Because you have to have the manager to know how to manage, right? You cannot ask a undergraduate to go there and ask the manager how they score, right? So what can go wrong here? Okay, of course you can look at the book. The book tells you a lot, but okay, the main idea is MBA, especially US MBA. They don't actually have any management experience, right? Some of them have, some of them don't, right? The MBA may be better, but MBA probably, how can they evaluate how the CEO make decision? Completely crazy, right? But that's the best they can do, right? I don't think they can. You can hire a executive to actually go to the plant. That's the best thing they can do. So that's something they may have problem. Okay? And also the manager don't want to tell you whatever they want to hide, right? If the manager do something wrong, they don't want to tell you, right? Right? The manager don't tell you they go to sleep in his office, right? In the afternoon, right? They don't tell you, right? The manager won't tell you. He goes to a business trip is because he wants to have fun, right? But they won't never tell you those, right? So that can go wrong. Okay. So lastly, big data. How do you define big data? It's very difficult, right? No one knows what the big data, how to define, right? And I think there's a famous quotation for big data, which is not so healthy, inappropriate. They call big data is like sex. Everyone talks about it, but no one knows what it is. But when they see it, they know what it is. So the big data. Everyone talk about big data, right? But no one actually know how to define it. But when you see it, then you know what is it big data or not big data, right? As a IT manager, you know what's big data because actually you handle big data most of the time, right? So this volume, right, has to satisfy a large data set, right? And velocity means that the data comes in, update a lot of time, quite frequently, right? And variety means there's a lot of very complex data structure, right? There's a different type of data, the text, you can have numbers, you can have video, you can have a lot of stuff goes on, right? And there's a veracity, also how accurate the data is, very accurate data, okay? And do you know that one thing I have to remind you that having processing of big data doesn't mean that the data suit for your purpose, right? Big data, just a lot, doesn't mean that the data is good enough. You may still have to clean it, okay? Maybe the data is big. So how can you do it? You may do resampling of data, right? You don't use whole data set to do what you want, right? Suppose the data about a website, maybe maybe Alibaba or Jingdong, right? Or Taobao, okay? Maybe there's some people keep buying stuff, right? Or maybe there's some people who just hide to purchase, right? To create fake rating. So in order to avoid your data being fooled by these people, you have to clean up, right? So you don't use the whole data set. You have to clean up to select the observation that is actually relevant, right? So you have to, clean up stuff, okay? So that's why you have to be very careful as an IT manager, right? Because not only you have to set the column, the right column, you have to actually set the row, which is the right row to select, right? Or you don't have a lot of data, don't mean that you have to take all the data. Okay? So that's something that keep in your mind because you handle a large data set anyway. Okay. So a final remark, I think this is also a big concern for the IT manager, right? Is whether you have the consent or legal right to handle data set. Something is not legal, right? And you have to be very careful. Of course, as a data manager, right? IT manager, you would put all the disclaimer, get all the right at the beginning, right? So make yourself safe. But still, some data cannot be used, right? Have to be very careful. Of course, it's very time-consuming to collect own data. And do remember, if the data collected by yourself, no problem. It feed what you want. But if you use the data from others, or data generated by your colleague or other department, then you'll be very careful, right? The data collected by them may not fit what you want, right? So you have to be extremely careful when you try to collect data. Okay. Okay. That ends our first part. I guess the right time to take a break of 15 minutes, but I'm sorry, I only have one break. In the meantime, I'll open a U reply so that you can tell me I'm going too fast or too slow. So let's have 15-minute breaks. In the meantime, I'll open up a survey that you can do and tell me how fast I'm doing and whether you would have something to say. So it's an anonymous survey. So if you have time, please feel free to fill it up. And then I will know how well you're doing and how fast I'm going. And you have something to share with your classmate. Since you guys are pretty silent, except smiling or yawning. So I'm not entirely sure how well it is. Okay. So let's have a break of 15 minutes. Let's resume at 4:15. Oh, sorry. 我做要不要我们看？你看能力。啊，没有。没有，完全是说这个是没有，我看那个slide，就跟我们第二个八号那个八号没有表扬，第五个到没有，哦没有那些不那些不其他课还是就其他课对，他们都没办法一个在卖。 Some people told me it's too cold. Is it the case if I change a little bit temperature? Is it too cold or too hot? Too cold. Okay. Too cold. So it's 24 and 24.5. So I make it 25. Okay. So I adjust. If it's too hot, then I adjust again. Okay. So let's see the result. Some people said it's too fast. Let's see if this is all right. First question is what are the common problem we usually encounter to clean the data? When cleaning data, usually the problem is I suppose you're meaning you are deselect the variable and so on and so forth. Actually, we'll talk about more of this in the next class. And to clean the data, I think the main part is the variable you have is not something you need. You need to recreate some new variable, and the rule to recreate new variable can be very complicated, right? So the variable you have is not something what you want, right? For example, you have the data of a consumer buying some stuff on a website, right? And then based on this data, you need to calculate a measure of, say, how they're willing to pay. And that may depend on what type of product they're buying, and there's complex rule. In that, it's very complicated, right? Or the data is in structure of text, okay? You need to clean up from a text to some number. That can create a little bit difficult because, or you extract some data from a text. That requires some, what we call regular expression to extract those data, right? Suppose you have a long text, you want to extract, say, they write the comment whether they like the product, right? You need to extract what is the comment quality from that data, the text data, to collect some number. That can be very complicated, okay? And also complicated is combined data set. Can be very difficult. Later you will see, because when you different data table to combine as one, then it's not that easy. Especially when you have a large data set, you can't really combine, right? Your big data you can only combine. So that are the main challenges. What should we do in a group project? As I said, you would be looking at, probably I should upload the, did I upload that already? Let me check. Did I? I didn't. Maybe I just steal from the last year one, which I upload later. I steal my last year. Did I write anything on that? Yeah, I did have. This last year, I will upload it later. But this is one updated version. I'll upload later. So basically, is the research is trying to apply what you learned from this class to an actual scenario that you want to do it. Okay. And you will form a team at most 6, or at least one. You can have only one member submit, and then remember the page limit. 1 page. Oh, maybe I have less. Even one side of A4 paper. Okay. So if 2 person, you have 2 A4 paper. So it's less than that. Maybe I can show you some example that past year have been done. Do I have that example there? Let's see. Do I have that? Let me see if I have any Any assignment that I have here? I have oh, project, yeah. So I randomly open one assignment here, some project here. So tell you what we are doing. So this is a project that actually try to look at the data, look at the crime, and predict how they do it in the US, Los Angeles. So what they're doing, you can see there's a bunch of people here. I think how many people? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and they have 6 pages. Okay. So they want to look at introduction and see why they want to study this thing and how they collect the data, look at the data from the US government, okay, look at the crime data, and they clean the data, okay, and how to do the analysis, the basic analysis, okay, and look at where they do it, who are the victims, look at the graphic, right, and they do some processing, they do smoothing, normalization, and some of you ask, what is difficult here is how to clean the data, right? The data comes in a very different form because different geographic location, you have to smooth it or clean it up. That is some part is very difficult, right? Because the geolocate, those kind of things is not something very simple. But of course, they manage to do it. And once the data is ready, they run regression and the time series model, they run AMA model, but probably doesn't make sense to you right now, but we'll talk about more later. And they find a model and do some prediction. And there's some machine learning method. There's k-mean clustering or principal component analysis. They do logistic regression and do some prediction. There's some prediction confusion matrix, so and so forth, some discussion, some conclusion, and some remark. So that would be along this line. I hope the answer passed only some of you the question. I'll try to upload some of the project in the past to there, and hopefully that will convince you that it's not something very difficult. The topic is your choice. I don't ask, you don't need to tell me, just do it. At the end of presentation, I know what's going on. And of course, if you're worried, you can always ask my comment on whether your topic is worth studying. I'm happy to take a look on those, but I will not give detailed guidance on those. And next part, self-assignment or finished work coding. Oh, you mean that all assignment are done by coding? No, because this class is some theory and some coding, so we have to do both, right? Can I speak slowly? Okay, I try to speak slowly because I always feel that I should talk more, right? Give you more information, given you pay a lot of money. In undergrad, I speak very slow, but now you think I should speak slowly, I speak slowly, okay? So don't think I would be able to I'll cover less, right? Because I speak slower, okay? I hope that's okay. If you want me to speak faster, I can speak faster, right? I will speak in this way, okay? If you say in this way. I haven't had any foundation before. As I assume absolutely no foundation. If you have nothing, it's okay. And some of you are worried about the programming in this class. We are not doing programming in this class. What we're doing is telling you how you can write this code and to do this. And what we do is actually replacing the code. That actually works, right? Because what we do is this. Let me see. So what you actually would do in your case is this line will be the same, right? No matter how you do analysis, you do the same thing. Only thing is you have changed this CSV file, right? So there's nothing new to learn except you learn where to put in your stuff. Just like you learn the app, how to control the app is click this button comes out, right? There's nothing new to learn because this is all the standard procedure, right? Just click it. Of course, cleaning data may require different technique and different case to solve, but nothing new, right? Go to ask AI, tell you how to, you want to do this, AI will tell you this command will do it, and then just put it there, right? I think last year, what I do is I teach a class in Python, and the assignment is ask them to reproduce in R. Okay, what they do is ask the AI. So this year I will not do that. So I will make the assignment more easier. Okay, in terms of maybe I ask you how you would do it in other scenario, then you learn how to do that. Okay, so that's not much programming. Don't worry. We are not doing programming. We're just saying that this is the function. You just adapt it to your own cases. We are not doing a graphical interface, but a coding a text interface only. So nothing very deep here. So don't worry too much about that. Okay. Data mining is good. I wonder whether the topic of the team project is free or limit. No, it's, as I said, as long as related to data, you apply what we want, then it's fine. I don't put a limit. You don't have to IT related. You can see the crime is not IT related. Okay? Of course, the best is to IT related, right? But if you really want to study something you like, then fine with me, because I want you to apply the technique only. Of course, the best is to apply to IT or internet or whatever context, but I don't want to limit your choice. Yeah, Colab is great, I agree. Is it possible to use the Mandarin to explain when the concept I understand? The answer is you have to ask me during the break, because I'm not allowed to speak the language other than English in the class. The medium instruction is English, but you can always ask me after the break or to ask the TA that she can answer you in Mandarin. Okay. Or you can ask the question in Mandarin, but I can allow that, but I have to still have to speak English because well, if you want really Mandarin, why you come here? Right? In China it's much cheaper. So you at the same time you try to learn English. Sorry, I speak fast, so I slow down a little bit. So will the final exam focus on code? The final exam I think will be just I think both. I don't say more, but you will see that, but probably you will see the assignment, then you will guess what is going on. Okay, assignment will be a best prediction of what we are asking. Okay, if you still want to know after the assignment one, then we can discuss. But I think assignment one or assignment two will reflect actually what we are trying to ask you. Okay, so both mainly probably you look at the slides will be sufficient. Okay, for the exam or assignment purpose. But if you want to know better, then probably should read the book. Okay, same as all the classes, right? So, but I think if you pay attention to class and I speak English slower, then it should be fine. Okay. Too fast. Okay, I slow down, sorry. Okay, so far it's okay. This is amazing because not just this class, this morning I teach a stat class for undergrad. There are some people who think it's a Thursday on Friday because the typhoon is coming. Suppose the Thursday and Friday, they are living in the future. So I hope it's correct. You don't have class tomorrow or Friday, but okay. Again, this is also something funny always. When it's sunny outside, it's always someone saying it's cloudy. But luckily this time we don't have someone rainy. Even though it's sunny outside, and then I suspect weather is not objective, right? It's something subjective. If you're rainy in your heart, then you'll be rainy outside as well. Yeah, that's right. Data cleaning is very important, and it's misleading. Well, that's a good conclusion. This course we have coding, which is qualitative, I would probably say, and there's some math here that's quantitative. So I think that's correct. Colab is very convenient. I think that's why I teach using Colab. I think you use the VS Code, but actually I never use VS Code. I use the Anaconda, the Spider package, because I come from our world. So the Spider actually is a by Anaconda, I mean this one. So usually when you do Anaconda, so usually this is the package that usually good for data analytics. So that's why I download this software and run the interface called Spider, which is closely related to R, very similar to R, and that has all the package in, so you don't have problem of installing the standard package. But VS Code, sorry, I actually never use it, so I don't really know. I mean, I used it 10 years ago using VS Code to use Visual Basic, but I mean, after 10 years, I don't actually know how to use VS Code, so don't ask me. Maybe TA know how to do it, so but I don't know. So I just know that I don't know how to set up those things. I'm sorry about that. Wow, that's good because I didn't teach it, but you know how to do it. It's very good. I mean, you learn very much better than I do. I didn't teach this part, but good. Upload data, yes. The file, yes, clean. Web calling is convenient. Yeah, GIGO, yes, GIGO. Is it true? Because the Python we taught is very simple. Because we don't need to write anything, right? Just replace the CSV file. I don't know how much difficult it is, but hopefully it should be fine. So I think you are saying it's not the content is too difficult. It's saying my English is speaking too fast. So I try to slow down. I mean, remind me, I try to slow down because so not easy to follow. Okay. Maybe I think you are right. I don't know too much about C++ because when I was a undergrad, what I learned is C, which that's the best thing I know for programming. Then I go to I learned some JavaScript and Java by myself, but other than that, I don't do too much about other stuff. I think it's okay by now, the temperature. Well, don't be so humble. According to the information I know, this year, the cohort, your intake is much stronger than last year. Okay, according to who you come from and which school you graduate from, everything, you guys are much better. Okay, so, but if you think I'm too fast or I covered things too difficult, I can always cut something out. It's not an issue because the graduate class, right? No one is going to check us if we cover everything, right? So as long as you feel happy, you learn it, then that's worth the money, right? So I just try to cater you, right? I mean, you think too fast, right? You don't learn anything, then there's no point, right? It's better to learn something that is going to be useful. Okay, good. None. Okay, is it the first class? Probably not, right? I think the Java class is more fun, right? Every time, I think last year I taught the class in the afternoon, Friday afternoon, and Friday morning the Java class, and they always feel very defeated. Some people keep drinking coffee during my class, but hopefully okay. Final will be simple. Yes, I said it's too simple last year, so I add a little bit difficulties. Okay, it's too simple last year, so but yeah. Okay, so far I think it's okay. As I said, as you request, I would slow down a little bit, if you allow me. But that means that we will fall behind for some topics. But that's okay. I'll decide what to cut out, what not to cut. But let's see. So second part is we trying to what we have. Let me review a little bit because you think I'm too fast, so a little bit review. So what we cover in the case before is how to download the data from the web in CSV form and then upload it using the Panda, right? But of course, if you are probably you learn in the summer, you learn how to do the scrapping, right? And then also safe and CSV form do the same thing, right? Use the Panda to do the analysis, okay? So it shouldn't be a big thing for you, right? But just to remind you that there's a several function to remember. Panda.csv is the thing that you try to read the CSV file, right? Or this is to directly read the thing. And the function called .head is to read the first few lines of the data set, okay? And they can check whether that's correct or not, right? This is the key thing is to load this Panda is the library that you would do analysis, to clean the data, okay? Not to do analysis, to clean data, okay? Data cleaning. So with CSV is the way they do, is the one of the thing you do, okay? And a filter is also a function from a Panda that try to select columns, okay? I hope that will be clear. So this here gives you idea that even the big data will have some issue there. But let's get the idea we are doing is prepare data for analysis, data cleaning. As some of you asked, what are the main challenges? Okay, I think one of the main challenges as well is you have to document your data properly. And that is the thing that as a guy who, if you know, I forgot to do introduction because of the time constraint, but as I am an economist, not a data science, and I am a guy who do theory, as handle math, and then has some point of time I do empirical analysis of the data. So I'm not a trained as a PhD guy who do data, but I have to do research, publish research on that, and that's why one of the obstacles for me is to have a good habit of doing a good empirics. One thing that I learned from the mistake is you have to document things very carefully, have to name your variable nicely, have to write your code clean, okay? That is very important. You spend extra effort to make your code clean, make all the comment you need to do is the most important. Otherwise, something obvious to you may not obvious to your group mate, not obvious to you after a few months later. Okay, that is very important because you have to take the pain to write those things, and it is worth it. Okay, so let's go directly to data analysis. Okay, sorry for this because for those who know data, these are too simple. But as I said, I assume zero knowledge, so I will start from the very beginning. Okay, and type of data. Okay, usually look at the book; they will tell you that data can be classified into 4 different types. Actually, you look at other, there are more types, but these are 4 main major types. And why we care about these types is because different tools can be applied to different types. Okay, you have to be careful what your data is. Even if data has 0 or 1 or have number, doesn't mean that you can treat it as it is. For example, the first one, nominal data. Nominal data is just a name, right? Maybe gender, maybe race, maybe how you go to school, right? What types of good you buy, right? It's just a name, but sometimes with number to it, right? For example, industry classification, SIC, that's what you just seen the manager data, is number. But number has no meaning, just a name, right? Your class ID, your student ID, then is ID number. But number has no meaning. Number represent person, right? So have to be very careful not to run regression over that. And actually, there's a famous paper that tried to run regression over that. That became a joke. But anyway, you have to know what to apply. There's some what they call ordinal data. Ordinal data is also very commonly seen in the web. You have the customer rating, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of the semester, you also rate me at a grade of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And what is ordinal? Ordinal simply means that the larger number is either better or worse, right? It just means the order. And say, look at this hotel rating. 4-star is better than 3-star. 5-star better than 3-star, 4-star, right? But the difference between 3 and 4 right, is smaller than the difference between 4 and 5, you agree, right? So this all the number just represent their order, okay? And that implies that if you try to do some analysis, do addition, subtraction, or nominal ordinal, you have a problem. So suppose you do average, which include adding, subtracting, right? Calculate standard deviation, all those operations cannot be applied or not meaningfully applied to ordinal, right? Actually, look at the website, wherever you see average rating from a customer is not that meaningful because you actually adding things is not too meaningful anyway, right? Because 3 and 4 star and 4 and 5 star difference is not meaningful. So doing average is not meaningful. Okay? And interval data means that the difference would matter, right? And for example, temperature in Celsius, in Fahrenheit, the difference matter, right? The degree 99 to 100, 0 to 1, the same thing, right? It's 1 degree above, right? 1 degree more. Difference matter. And ratio means that 0 is actually 0. Okay? The Fahrenheit don't start from 0. Celsius start from 0, right? So you make sense to do multiplication and so on and so forth. But later you will see this data type will determine what kind of tools you want to use, or we need to rescale it, so on and so forth. But do keep in your mind that what type of data will be very crucial, okay, for your analysis to be meaningful. Okay. And the next part is data wrangling. And this is trying to transform the typo here. Oh, sorry. This is raw data. From raw data to the set of data that that's meaningful. Okay. And you have to understand the raw data comes in various forms, not so nice. So in order to do in Python, at the book, we suggest we would create the data type we call tidy table. Okay, actually related to the package called tidyverse. So everything is given a tidy form, which we'll describe later. And then instead of combining one big table, we will have link different table, especially when you IT with several data set, how to link those. Okay. And then we call data cleaning. Actually, this part, as I said, is kind of complicated because you don't know who collect data, and there may be duplication over observation you have to clean up, which is not easy to discover. And what kind of data set you want to keep is whether it's a science rather than arts, or sorry, arts rather than science, because whether the observation is valid will depend on certain criteria. You have to decide what criteria you want to keep, right? Especially when you IT data, there are a lot of robots in the world trying to crawl your website, right? And then you have to decide whether this kind of customer are robot or not, or to defeat the robot by capture and so on and so forth, right? So you have to look at handle the missing value is also very hard. But the question is, suppose that the consumer have all the data except one entry. How you want to handle that when you do the analysis? You're trying to estimate the data to fit in, or completely ignore that column, or how do you do that? Okay, so these are all the difficult part. Okay, and let's see the next slide. Okay, now we are looking at the data, and the book, and also if you do Python or R, they will suggest you to consider data stored in a tidy format. Okay. By tidy format, means the following: each observation from a row, okay? So which means that you don't have two rows of the same observation, okay? And then the variable from the column, so with all the features of the column, okay? And each type of observation with a table by its own. Okay, later we'll see what they mean, because you may have a customer, so one table, maybe firm, seller, one table, right? Depends on the type you would have collect of them, collect those, and each observation of ID, you may collect those together, right? But that would be the idea. Let's see the table we have. Okay, and this is a look at the hotel data. You remember hotel data? The first data we have. Okay, and the rows you have is hotel ID. Okay, do note that the ID just means the number, so you can't really add subtract. It's a ordinal data. Okay, don't do average on this number. Okay, and here you have each ID. You have the price they charge for one night. I think in euro, and this is the distance from the city center. Okay, so for each observation, you have one column there. Then you have a nice data set. Okay, if you try to collect your own data, you scrap it, then you have to try to store it in this format. But this is, by default, this is a standard way to store data. Okay. Now, we're going to make our hands dirty again. Okay. The data from that. Okay, let's go step by step and tell you what's going on here, and then we work together. Okay. The first line, I think know now, is to load the library Panda. Okay, and as a shortcut, we call PD. Right. And second line is what I do is to collect it from the web. It's a web link that's the data. So that's the URL. And the fourth line is the DF is I read using Panda package and use with CSV function to read the URL directly and input it to DF. Okay, the DF, because of Panda, it automatically, if the data is nice, will store it as a tidy form, so you can do whatever operation you want. Okay, and the next one is look at the value count, which means that I should look at the data. Okay, later you will see they will just do the tally table. Okay, let me show it to you, because that's do one by one will be easier. Okay, I think last time we already do that already, so let's go to only this one. So I continue what I'm doing. This IPython code already, I upload it to the Blackboard already. In case you want to take a look, is after this class is already here. I think update dynamically. The local course content, they will be not here. Where did I put it? Where? Oh, I put it in this one. I think it's okay. I just put in the course outline. I think it's okay. I just make a mistake. But anyway, this will be fine. So what I'm going to do is I create a new line and run this one. Okay. Let's see what you get. So it's a table tally. Okay, telling you that there are different type of accommodation and to count them. Okay. So value underscore count. Look at the data. Right, they count it very nicely. Okay, is that clear? What we have? I just go around to see if you have a question. Is that okay? It's okay. Can you run that? I mean, you can try to run that. If you have no question, we'll continue. Or you can try different type. Okay, because I will only look at the accommodation type. Or you can look at the stars, say. Okay, suppose I change this line to stars. Okay, I run this. You will see that how many 4-star, 3-star, 5.5 star, and so on and so forth. Right, this is something. It's clear. This is a first look of data. Okay, and this to help you to look at the data, get some sense what it looks like. And this would be something you should do when you first get the data, right? Not just going to run the regression or the data, because to look at the data, does it make sense? Is it balanced data, right? Because you can see most of the data are 4-star, right? And you have some of them are 1 star and so on and so forth. Is it the right data? If not, you should continue to get until you get the appropriate thing, right? Suppose you want to look at 4-star hotel, it's fine, right? But if you never want to go to 3-star hotel, then probably you should continue your data collection. Is that clear? I hope that would give you a better idea on how you collect data. Okay, I hope now it's not too fast. Is it okay? Meow. So now what we're going to do, okay? Before, if I want to select columns, I use the keyword filter, right? Now, if I want to select observations, the way I do is this dot LOC. Probably you have learned that in your summer, right? No? Yes, right. So what I do is this function is checking the logic, is giving you the return on a vector or bunch of number that actually this statement is true, right? So this will give you only thing that equal to hotel, right? So let me run this. Now, after we run this, how can you make sure this is correct? Okay, you should check this by running this line again, which I do it now here. Okay, if the line number 8 is doing, suppose it's doing, is only have a hotel. Okay, let's see. Now we only have hotel left. So you should check in this way, right? There's some trick is when you do something, you're supposed to perform something, you should check. Okay, I think you, as an IT manager, you know this trick, but you may not aware when you do data. Is that clear? Is that okay? For those people in the top of the mountain, or those people on the other side, is that okay? I mean, I agree for those who are expert in programming, this is too stupid, but I have, under the demand that I have to slower, so I'm sorry about that. So here is try to select the column, okay? Without using the filter function, the next one is I only want to show the ID, the price, the distance, okay? I select them. This bracket is called the subsetting function, right? This one. This bracket, okay? I think you learned it in the summer as well. This is called the subsetting, is selecting which column you're looking at, okay? But without filtering, because filter means that you take it out, right? But I just want to take out, look at the 3 top rows, okay? So let's copy that. So this code is available online already, so you don't need to worry if you can't copy. But I hope you can do it by yourself, and you can see what we have. Okay, you will see the data looks pretty okay. This is ID, this is the price, this is the distance. So this is what we want to have. Okay, so at least know now you can know how to select observations, right? We collect the data, and we now decided we only focus on hotel because I don't want to live with Airbnb. So that is the idea. That's why we do this. Okay? Is that clear what we have right now? Head is just getting the first 3. If I change 3 to 5, then you'll get 5. See? So if I want to do this, say if I set 10, then they'll give me top 10 rows. Is that okay? I hope this is clear how we do it. Although I said it's much slower than what I want to do, but compared to Java class, right? So, but I hope you're okay with that. I mean, I can always go fast. I mean, but if you want, not easy to get slow in fact. Getting slower is not that easy. But is that okay? Any question, please let me know. Now, if that's okay, then we talk about a certain thing. That is very common when you have data we call XT data. Okay, it's called cross-sectional time series data. Okay, and that is a little bit problematic because there are two different ways to store the data. Okay, and the way that in a lot of database is stored in long format. Okay, the way we do is very close to wide format. Okay, by long format, it means that each observation, let's see the data here. Okay, by long format mean like this. Okay, let me talk about the example, then you will see what's a long format, because otherwise you are not. It's too abstract to tell you what's a long format. So this data is coming from the World Bank data. It's a immunization rate, means how many people take the vaccine. Okay, it's before the COVID, so it's not with the COVID. It's 2000 many years ago. Okay, and they want to look at the GDP and try to look at these problems. Okay, let's look at data. I download the data, open it. Okay, data look like this. Okay, we have different years, different country, right? Population and mortality and survival, so on and so forth. All right, and where's it? Okay, and you can see this is a long format. Okay, what long format is often you can often see this in the database is you have country, different year, right? And the variable you have. Okay, you store the data and the year together as a row. It's a one observation. And why database store in this format? Because when the new data comes in, it just add one more row. You don't need to change the old record. Okay, so that is the idea why database always store in this long format. Okay, but this format is not the way we do analysis. Okay, you store in the wide format, which will be something like this. Okay, what you want is a country, one minute because it's my kids' school. Wait. Okay, nothing. Because I worry about my son is going to have some issue, but I don't know why they call me because today's a half day, so my son should have gone home. So I don't know why they keep calling me. Anyway, sorry for that. I shouldn't pick up the phone, but I'm very sorry about that. But anyway, you can understand, say that, I mean, you would be worried about that. So you will see this as a immunization by year. This is the GDP, different year, right? And each row is one country, but you include different years. This is a wide format. And you need to know how to exchange from one to the other. That's what we're trying to tell you how to do it. And as you can see, the Y is good to present, but not to keep data, because adding data is difficult, right? Because if you net new year, then you have one new column which affect everything, right? If you learn the data structure, appending is much easier, right? You change the whole data set is very complicated. Okay, so that's why data storage is always in the long format, but not easy to see. Okay, but when you do analysis, usually it's a wide format. Okay. Now, what I want to show you is we want to download this data, okay? And we want to filter it and try to do the analysis. As I said, I want to switch from long format and the wide format, okay? So I get the first line is fine. Second line, just define the URL. Just 1 minute. Wait. 係係哦，佢可能冇教到啊。我覺得我俾佢咯，佢又大嘅，係咯。OK OK OK OK，哇 OK，拜拜。So sorry, my son he forget to pass the check to his teacher and he said I'm owing them some money. So it's a money chasing call. So that's why she keep calling me. But like, that's my son problem. Sorry about it. But anyway, I'm sorry I take up the phone because I super worry about what's going on. Sorry about that. I hope you can forgive that. So this is the data, right? So let's try to do it. I think what we do is download data and read it and filter out what we need, because remember the data is a little bit complicated, right? So let's copy the whole thing. I hope now you will be comfortable with this code. All right. So let me copy all of them and just place it and just run without doing line by line. I hope by now you should be more or less comfortable with all that. So very successfully, we have the data, country, year, immunization rate, and GDP. Is that clear? You can try, because that is the way that you learn, is copy and change, right? That's how you learn Python, right? I mean, learn programming, just find copy, just like drawing. I don't know. Drawing, you just copy some drawing and you write, right? Or calligraphy or whatever, right? Is that okay? I know it's very trivial, but try to make sure that you're okay. Okay? I hope that should not be an issue. Okay? Just try. If you don't want to try, it's okay. Okay? So now, how do we change from long format to wide format? Okay? How I do that? I ask AI to tell me, then I just adapt. Okay? So of course, you guys probably would be better than I do. Maybe this is more smart way, but I just figure out this way. This is what AI told me. Okay? Because if I were to do it, I would use a reshape function, which is more complicated. But I asked the AI to tell me which faster. So probably you can tell me this is efficient code or not. Okay. The way I do, I will use the Py package. Okay. But let's see if this code do what we want to do. Okay. So you can see what they do is already did the job using the unstack idea. Okay. You select the country year, country name and year as an identifier, because it's unique identifier, right? Which observation you want to do, and then you unstack by year. Okay. So that is how you have a country observation year to be collapsed in this way. Okay. So that means that you collapse the long format into wide format. Okay. Is that okay? I mean, if you have to be useful in your case, just remember the code, right? You just replace this X, Y, Y, then you're done, right? Depends on what you're going to do. Okay. And this is according to AI, tell me that this is not the final product you want. You want to make it the column names to what you call multi-index, because the code here is the name doesn't fit very well. Okay, so you have to run the code to make the name correct. This is the code that you wrote one. Okay. Why you would what is doing? Okay, what is the code doing? Okay, set index means this is the index of, because the data is by country and year. Each country and year has observation, right? Then you have to make it, for each observation you make it by year. So that's why you set the index and unstack it, spread out by year. Okay. Is that clear? But I hope that will be okay. Okay. So this one is rather crazy. What is it doing? Okay. Let's run it, then you will see what's going on. Okay, let's run this code and then try to make sense of it. Okay. To be honest, this is suggested by AI. Okay. So just follow. As I told you, if I do it the other way around. It's much more longer code. But they suggest this one, so I do it this way. So you can see what they're doing is to make the column names by x0, which is the top of the thing, and have underscore and add the string of x1. So that's why he make this x0, this x1. Okay, because x0, the column name is like this and this, so that's how to combine the name. Okay, and of course, you don't need to memorize it because it should be the same for all your data, right? Data is country, year, and this is how it's spread out. So there's nothing, I don't think there's anything new you need to change the code, right? The only thing you need to change is in your application, probably your maybe month or days, and this country name maybe just change to your customer ID, so on and so forth. So there's nothing, just follow the same code. So there's nothing new to be worried about this. You just, as I said, you just copy the code and change whatever you need to change. You're not writing a new code, right? You just adapt the code to what you need, right? And because now we have AI, so that's very simple, right? Most of the things I just ask and adapt it. Okay, is that okay? I hope this doesn't scare you too much. But since you are learning Java, so this is nothing, right? It's a piece of cake. I hope that's the case. Now, the next is called relational database. Okay. Okay. And it means that I try to link different table, right? Because I said I don't want to collect everything in one single table, right? I want to focus on, say, this table is related to this observation, this table to observation. It's like I have a consumer table, I have a retailers table, so on and so forth, right? Or each web page I have one table, right? And I link across table, right? So that would be the idea, okay? So then each table will be related to ID, unit ID, okay? Let's see the example, okay? The example will tell us what do we mean by that, okay? So what this example is trying to do is go to the website of this football data, okay? And what they try to do is looking at which football manager in the UK soccer, who is the most successful one, okay? And they are doing based on 3 data sets, the games and teams and manager. Why they have that? Because the website is organized in this way. So when they download the scraping data, you will be, sorry, to be free. Sorry for a typo, because last year when I teach this class, I used the publisher slides slightly modified, and I feel that it is not very good because you don't talk using other people's slides. So I completely rewrite everything That's all the new slides, so there's some typo. I'm sorry about that, but you guys suffer because the section on Friday will be correct. So there's a free table, okay? And you can look at the data. So this data, the games data. So the games data tells you which division of the league they're in, what year, what day, which team versus which team, whether team at the home, away, go, home and away. Okay, that's how many. That is the idea. Okay, because you win, you get 3 points. You draw, you get 1 point. You lose, you get 0. Okay, and this is a record of the team, whether how many goals they're in. Okay, okay, so this is the data. Okay. And so this is data as you have seen already, right? So the next part is, okay, we introduce another one. Okay, we download the data, we sort them. Okay, so let's tell you what do we see. Okay, so let me copy this and run this, then you will see what are we doing here. Okay, so what are we doing here? You can see sort value. By definition, you're sorting based on team home, right? So basically sort this guy, right? So actually you can see the row number actually change, right? You just bring all the arsenal to the right at the front. Okay. So basically this sort value is to reorder data, ascending order on team home. Okay. Other function you know very well, right? I think that's okay, right? The first one, I don't think I need to explain line by now. This is obvious. Is that okay? Good. I don't know whether I'm too slow, but I can go faster. Okay. So this one is a tidy table. Why? Because each observation is a game. Okay. And each game on separate row. Okay. And how to identify this is the time, home team and away team, this you identify. Okay. So that will be sufficient. You try to match different data table. That's what we will do. Okay. And there's another table that tells the teams table. So let's see. Let's download this table. Okay. And this table is the same, but you can see it's a collapse at team level. Okay. I look at this team and what the opponent. Okay. And you may ask why is it the case? Because this is data stored in the website, right? You look at this team, what is the result? Right? So this is our data. And you have more stuff, right? Which they're competing. Okay. Okay. And this is a long table version, right? Now we can do the same, the team data and sort them, okay? And this will give you the table we have seen before, okay? Just copy. Just run that. You can see this is exactly the table that we saw in the slide, okay? So everything you can check easily. You can work out the slide, okay? Is that okay? I don't think there's nothing new here, but you sort by team. Okay. And do note that in this table, each game is on separate row, okay? But there's duplication, right? Because the ID is the day and the team, okay? And each game has two teams. So there will be duplication, right? Because team A was team B, there are two records, right? Will be days and team A, and same day with team B, right? So to be careful. That's why when you look at data, to check very carefully whether the data is this form or the other form. Okay. So the opponent team is not a part of ID. Okay? So have to be very careful what we have. Okay. Now next is the football manager. Okay. Sorry, let me steal 5 minutes from you. Then we don't. Is that okay? I steal 5 minutes from you. Yeah. Sorry. If you want to go, you go. You can go. Doesn't matter. But this is data. This is manager data. So I already steal you 15 minutes from the break. I steal 5 more minutes. I hope it's okay. Okay. And then we don't need to make up the class. Okay. So this data set, look at the manager ID and manager name, and from when to when, right? Which team, which list they're in, right? So this is the data for the manager, because the goal is what? Identify the manager that's most successful, right? So you need the team data, how they perform, and the manager from when to when they do stuff, okay? So you need to collect the data set. That is called the relational database. I try to be quick, but something blocks me out, okay? So the problem is manager may, as you see, may more than once and work for multiple teams, right? Because at this moment, manager A work for team A, the team X, and after a year, he work for team Y, right? So that is a little bit complicated when you clean the data, okay? So this is the data you have, okay? And if you try to download, this is the code. I think by now, by heart, you should know what does that mean here. You should be very familiar with what we're doing here, right? The URL, the CSV at the head, right? So I hope, as I said, you should be comfortable because you have seen this all the time. The same code reading again. The only change is this one, right? The URL. Okay. And if that's okay, we go to the next one. Okay. How to link table. Okay. There are many ways to link the table. You can be one-to-one matching or many-to-one matching, one-to-many or many-to-many matching. Why? In the case where the football team and the stadium is one-to-one because each team play at one stadium, right? But maybe when you match football team and the player, one team has many players, right? If you want to match two data sets. If you try to match football team manager, it's many because manager may work for multiple teams, right? And that means that the matching will be more complicated. I'm not talking about matching because in Python it will be very complicated. Okay. And also the book don't tell you how to match. They only give you the match outcome. Okay. How to do it? Ask AI. Okay. I just skip that part. The book skip that part, so don't blame me on that. They give you the answer finally. Okay. So once they match, this is the matching outcome. Okay. So I don't want to go to the detail to match, but this is match data. Okay. You can try to look at this. This is match data. So by now, I hope now you should be very comfortable seeing this code again. Okay. And this data, right? You can see which team and who is the manager, right? Doing when, right? And now what is remaining is the following, slightly more complicated. Okay. How much time I should have? Maybe -1, right? Okay, -1. Let me cover the code later, but let me show you the result first. Okay. So at the end of the day, okay, he is trying to do is group the data set by each manager and calculate the mean, right? Calculate the sum, how much they win. So quickly to go ahead, but we'll talk about this is you have to group by, aggregate by which game they're in, right? And how many points they have, and store them. And then calculate how much games he win by ratio. We'll talk about that next class, okay? Because of time constraint. And then you look at the top guys, sort them. The top 10 managers there, okay? But be sure we'll go slowly next class on that, okay? But that will be the way how you combine is by join, okay? But I'm not going to talk about those at the moment, okay? So I guess I shouldn't take too much time from now, but at the end of the day, okay, let me quickly review what we have so far today, okay? So today, I'm sorry that allow me a few more minutes. So today what we learned is several things. First, we learned you have to be very careful about defining data structure, what data you want to get, right? And this is not taught in detail, right? But we learn if you have data, CSV file, you can use Python to load it there, to filter the columns, select the rows, and then we don't have enough time to cover, but we have multiple tables. We will link them and do some calculation here. And as I said, if I teach you all the details, it will actually cost a 1 semester class. So the good thing now is because AI, when no question, you can just ask AI how to do a particular operation, right? If you want to filter observation, how to select those things, you can ask AI for that. But I guess most of the time when you handle data, it should be clean enough for you to do stuff. If you still have a question, you can ask me or ask AI. But I'm sorry for the delay with the beginning. I will try not to delay next time, so I will try to be on time. But given that we have delayed a few minutes and we don't have the break, so you shouldn't be fall behind from the other class. So I hope you have a nice Friday or Thursday for your typhoon may come true. I'll see you on next Wednesday. I'll stay behind to answer any question you might have.